Good morning, everyone. We were discussing our chapter how, when, and where, right? And we were seeing how historians in the past, they had a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, a lot of arguments regarding the dates of certain events in the history, right? And we have even discussed about the image of Britannia, which reflects how we Indians ourselves have handed over our ancient documents in the hand of Britannica, which is said to be the symbol of British dominance, right? So it reflects that we with our own willingness have handed over India in the hands of Britishers because we considered them to be the protector of our nation. We thought that they would protect our nation better. Now, which dates? By what criteria do we choose a set of dates as important? The dates we select, the dates around which we compose our story of the past, are not important on their own. They become vital because we focus on a particular set of events as important. Dates become important when certain events are attached to it, right? Certain important events, when they are attached to a date, those dates become memorable. If our focus of study changes, if we begin to look at new issues, a new set of dates will appear significant. Definitely, earlier we used to focus on the dates on which certain events have taken place, and that is why those dates have become important. Now, if we look on other issues, right, and if we start focusing on other areas, maybe we would find other dates as important, right, and they would appear to be significant for us as well, right? Like if we remember the year 1840, the revolt of 1857. So the year 1857, whenever we talk about it, we consider ki, come on, 1857 is a very important year for us to remember. Why? Because revolt of 1857 started. Similarly, if we change our focus now to the year 2020, now why year 2020 will be very important from 5 to 6 years from now? From now on, why? Because we are fighting a pandemic called coronavirus, right? So not year 2020 will be also very significant in the no, for our future generation. They'll remember this year 2020. Why? Because the entire world was hit by a disease called coronavirus. We have changed our focus of study. Similarly, whenever we change our focus of study and we look at new issues, other dates, they appear to be important. Consider an example. In the histories written by British historians in India, the rule of each governor general was important, right? These histories began with the rule of the first governor general, Warren Hastings, and ended with the last viceroy, Lord Mountbatten. In separate chapters, we read about the deeds of others. Okay. So we should also remember that even rulers in ancient India did not all share the same faith. Now we'll have just look whether we are on the right page. Okay. So we were talking about Warren Hastings, right? Now, Hastings, Wellesley, Bentinck, Dalhousie, Canning, Lawrence, Lytton, Ripon, Curzon, Harding, Irwin. Who are these? The Governor Generals of India, right? The people who have been appointed as the Governor General of India by the British people. It was a seemingly never-ending succession of governor-generals and viceroys. All the dates in these history books were linked to these personalities, to their activities, policies, achievements. It was as if there was nothing outside their lives that was important for us to know. The chronology of their lives marked different chapters of the history of British India. Means if we look over look over certain British documents, right? Certain British records of history, we'll only find about these viceroys and governor generals of the India, right? Who were given the responsibility to look over the proceedings of the India, right? So we'll only find about these personalities, about their succession, about the policies, about their achievements. We'll find nothing else. We'll not find about the history which affected we Indians. We'll only be finding about these personalities. There will be no mention of we Indians, the sufferings which we were going through, the revolt which was going on from our end. Nothing would be mentioned in the British record. Why? Because it was British point of view. Like they have published their history according to their opinions. All the dates in these history books were linked to these personalities, to their activities, policies, achievements. It was as if there was nothing outside their lives that was important for us to know. The chronology of their lives marked the different chapters of the history of British India. Can we not write about the history of this period in a different way? Of course we can write. How do we focus on the activities of different groups and classes in Indian society within the format of the history of governor generals? Means we would consider this time period. We would consider these governor generals were there, these viceroys were there, and we were a part of colonial India. But we can look at this history from a different point of view, from the Indian perspective, Indian society, Indian suffering under these governor generals. When we write history or a story, we divide it into two chapters. Why do we do this? It is to give each chapter some coherence. It is to tell a story in a way that makes some sense and can be followed. In the process, we focus only on those events that help us to give shape to the story we are telling. In the histories that revolve around the life of British governor generals, the activities of Indians simply do not fit. They have no space. What then do we do? Clearly, we need another format for our history. This would mean that the old dates will no longer have the significance they earlier had. A new set of dates will become more important for us to know, right? Because when we talk about British history, they will have their own set of events. They will have their own set of significant dates. But when we will write the same history, right, same events from the Indian perspective, right, we'll have another set of significant dates, right? We'll give history another shape. Though we are talking about the same time period, but we are talking about two different perspectives, right? We are looking at the same time period, but from two different opinions, from two different point of views, right? The similarity is that we are talking about the same time period, but in one time period we are talking about we are taking history through British point of view, and in another we are taking it from Indian point of view, right? So according to British point of view, they will have their own important dates, and when we talk about we Indians, we'll have our own set of important dates. Now class, what you will do is you will read till here, you will understand, right? You will go through this chapter once, and if any query is there till here, right, you can raise your queries on your WhatsApp group, right? Don't shy away, raise your queries on your WhatsApp group, but there is a timing between 8 to 1:30, right? You can ask your queries between 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And whatever homework is being given, please be regular in submitting your homeworks. Thank you.